Hi, welcome to Math with Miss V. In the previous video, we talked about decimals place value, decimals on a number line, and we compared the decimals. In today's video, I'm going to talk about rounding decimals and rewriting decimal to a fraction, fraction to a decimal. Okay, let's round decimals. Let's say I have 8 and 264 thousandths. Okay, I want to round it to the nearest tens place. Okay, this is the ones place, this is the tens place. I want to round it to the nearest tens place. What that means? It means the rest of the numbers after the tens place, I don't need it. I'm gonna erase it, I'm gonna delete it. Okay, but this is the question. I'm gonna round it or I'm gonna round it up. Okay, it's gonna be 8 and 2/10, or I'm gonna round it up. Let's see. We are looking at the next number, next digit, which is the hundredths place. Okay, it's 6. Let's say 26, it's close to 20 or it's close to 30. 26, obvious, it's close to 30. It means I'm gonna round it up. Round up. Another way, when I'm rounding it to the nearest tens place, the next digit, if it's greater than 5, the next digit, if it's greater than 5, I'm rounding it up. So 2 gonna become one digit more. It's gonna be 8 and 3/10. Okay, what we did here, we are rounding to the nearest tens place. I circled the tens place. Okay, the next digit, if it's greater than 5, it means I'm rounding it up. So it's going to be 8 and 3/10. What if I have 8 and 254 thousandths? And again, I want to round it to the nearest tens place. I'm going to circle the tens place. Okay, the rest numbers, I don't need it. But I'm gonna round it, it's gonna be 8 and 2/10, or I'm gonna round it up. So, because the next digit is equal to 5, I'm gonna round it up. It's gonna be 8 and 3/10. So, if I'm rounding to the nearest tens place and the next digit is greater than or equal to 5, I'm always rounding it up. The tens place digit gonna become greater. One digit greater. It's 2, it's gonna become 3. One more. Okay, what about if I have 8 and 234 thousandths? In this situation, again, I want to round to the nearest tens place. Let's circle the tens place. Okay, what is the next digit? Next digit is 3, which is less than 5. If the next digit is less than 5, I'm just gonna round it. It's gonna be 8 and 2/10. Okay, let's review what we did here. Okay. Look, if I'm rounding to the nearest tens place and the next digit is greater than or equal to 5, I'm rounding it up. So 2 gonna become 3. If the next digit is less than 5, I'm just rounding it. I'm just crossing out the digits after the tens place. Okay, so it's obvious. 26 is close to 30, not 20. 25, because there is like another number, like it's greater actually than 5. 25 is close to 30. 30. When we are rounding the whole numbers, 25, we are putting 30, yes? Okay, 23 is close to 20. So, greater than and equal to 5, the next digit, we are rounding it up. Less than 5, we are just rounding it. Let's do few examples. I have 0 and 354,000 and I want to round it to the nearest hundreds place. Tens place, hundreds place. I'm gonna circle the hundreds place. Okay, to round it, I have to cross out the numbers after that hundreds place. So, but what I am doing, I'm looking at the next digit. 4 is less than 5. It means I'm just gonna round it. It's gonna be 0 and 35 hundredths. So, I'm rounding to the nearest hundredths place. The next digit is less than 5. So I'm just gonna round it. I'm just gonna cross out the digits after the hundreds place. 0 and 35 hundredths. Let's do another example. I have 0 and 456,000. And again, I want to round it to the nearest hundreds place. Tenths place, hundreds place. I'm gonna circle the hundreds place. And the next digit is greater than 5. It means I'm gonna round it up. The 5 gonna become 6. 0 and 46 hundredths. Let's do another example. I have 41 and 89 hundredths. And I want to round it to the nearest tens place. Let's circle the tens place. The next digit is greater than 5. It means I'm gonna round it up. So it will become 41 and 9 tenths. So what we did here, 0 and 354 thousandths. Rounding to the nearest hundreds place. I circle the 100 and mention the next digit. Next digit is less than 5. It's just we're gonna cross out the next digit and the answer will be 0 and 35 hundredths. Okay, here 0 and 456 thousandths. Rounding to the nearest hundreds place. Next digit is greater than 5. It means we're gonna round it up. 5 gonna become one digit more. 5 gonna become 6. Here, 41 and 89 hundredths. We're gonna round it to the nearest tens place. The next digit is greater than 5. It means we are rounding it up. It means 8 gonna become 9. 41 and 9 tenths. Now let's talk about how to make the decimal as a fraction and fraction as a decimal. Let's say we have 0 and 23 hundredths. How to make it as a fraction? Okay, 0 and 23 hundredths. 23 hundredths is the same as 23 over 100. Or, look at the decimal point. If before the decimal point there is a number, it means I'm gonna have a mixed number, whole number with the fraction. If it's 0, it means I'm gonna have a just proper fraction. Okay, the proper fraction has a numerator and denominator. After the decimal point, whatever number I do have, it's going to the numerator. The denominator gonna have that many zeros, how many numbers I do have after the decimal point. I have 2 digits, I'm gonna have 2 zeros. It means 100. 23 goes to the numerator, 1, 2 digits after decimal point, 1, 2 zeros here in a denominator. Okay, even if I'm telling you, if I'm gonna read this number, I'm gonna say 23 over 100 or 23 hundredths. So 0 and 23 hundredths is equal to 23 over 100. Let's look another example. I have 0 and 3 hundredths. 0 and 3 hundredths. Why I'm reading 0 and 3 hundredths, not tens? Because the last digit, which is 3, it's in a hundredths place. Again, the same way, I don't have a whole number. It's going to be a proper fraction. Numerator going to be after the decimal point. What number I do have? 3. It's going to be in a numerator. And how many digits? 1, 2. 2 zeros. It means it's going to be 3 over 100 or 3 hundredths. 0 and 3 hundredths. Let's look another example. I have 1 and 47 hundredths. In this situation, I have a whole number. It means it's going to be mixed number. Whole number and a proper fraction. What's going to be our whole number? Before the decimal point, I have 1, which is a whole. It's going to go here. And after the decimal point, it's the same way. 47 after the decimal point number. Going to go to the numerator. And how many numbers I do have, that many zeros I'm going to have in a denominator. It means it will be 1 and 47 over 100. Or 1 and 47 hundredths. 1 and 47 hundredths, because the last digit is in a hundredths place. Okay, let's look at another example. I have 21 and 7 hundredths. Again, the same way, it's going to be a mixed number because I have a whole number, 21, and the numerator going to be after the decimal point. What I do have? I have 7. It's going to be in a numerator, and the denominator going to be 100 because I have 2 digits, 2 zeros. 21 and 7 over 100. 21 and 7 hundredths. Let's try another example. I have 3 and 3 thousandths. Okay, again, I have whole number. It's gonna be a mixed number. Before the decimal point, gonna go to the whole number. After the decimal point, the number gonna go to the numerator. And how many digits I do have? 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna have 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. It means 1,000. Okay, 3 and 3 over 1,000. 3 and 3 thousandths. Now let's try to do the opposite. Let's say I have fraction. I want to make it as a decimal. For example, 94 over 5. Okay, 94 over 5 is improper fraction. What I'm doing always to get a decimal. Numerator, I'm going to divide by denominator. 94 divided by 5. Okay, let's do that. 5 goes to 9 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. I'm going to subtract to get the remainder. 9 minus 5 is 4. I'm going to bring down the next digit. 5 goes to 44. 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. I'm going to subtract and get the remainder of 4. If I'm making it mixed number, I'm going to stop here. You already know. If not, go ahead and check my previous videos. But I need a decimal. What I'm going to do, I need to bring down another number, but I do not have another number here. Let's put 0. But 94 and 940 is not the same number. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the decimal point because 94 is the same as 94 and 0 tenths. Okay, I'm not changing the value of 94. So the same thing I'm going to do in answers place. Okay, then I'm going to bring down the 0. 5 goes to 40 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. I'm going to subtract and get the 0 remainder. So 94 over 5 is equal to 18 and 8 tenths. Let's look at another example. For example, I have 3 over 4. It's a proper fraction. 3, I'm gonna divide by 4. Most of the time, my student doing the mistake, they are dividing the biggest number to the smallest number. No, numerator, we are dividing by denominator. 4 goes to 3, 0 times. I'm gonna put the 0. Okay, so and I need number. Again, the same way, I'm gonna put the decimal point and add 0. Because 3 and 0 tenths is the same, it has the same value. Okay, but the same thing I'm gonna do in answers place. 4 goes to 30, 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. I'm gonna subtract and get the remainder of 2. Okay, I don't need a remainder, so the remainder has to be 0. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add another 0, because 3 or 3 and 0 tenths or 3 and 0 hundredths, it's the same number. It has the same value. So I'm gonna bring down the next 0. 4 goes to 20 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. Now I get a 0 remainder. So 3 over 4 is equal to 0 and 75 hundredths. Let's try one more example. Let's say I have 4 over 5. Again, the same way, I'm going to divide 4 by 5. Okay, 5 goes to 4, 0 times. I need number, I do not have it. I'm going to put the decimal point and 0, that the value of the 4 going to stay the same. 5 goes to 40, 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. I'm going to subtract and get the 0 remainder. So 4 over 5 is the same as 0 and 8 tenths. Thanks for watching. See you next time.